Yeah.
Where were you in your early 20s?
I was in Austin and Denver. Yeah.
In Denver?
Mm-hmm.
And you started
Austin.
stand up there?
No, my friends, I have a gaggle of friends that I'm very close to from my childhood, and we've moved around the country together, following each other's dreams, and whoever gets into college or gets their masters, and then we just have had this nice little
Wow.
family. And
Wow.
then they moved out to Los Angeles for TV and film. And I had no interest in moving out here. And then I went through a breakup. And when I went through my breakup, it was truly days before my friends were leaving. And it was going to be our moment where we went our separate ways.
Uh-huh.
And I just tossed my stuff in their moving truck and I moved to Los Angeles. And I said, I'm going to hang out here for 6 months until I feel better after that breakup. And then I'll go back to Denver. And then being in Los Angeles, I saw all the open mics and I had been obsessed with stand up my whole life. And I thought,
Right.
maybe I'll just try an open mic.
Wow. So you hadn't done anything up to that point.
Yes. So I tried stand up, but I had never, I had never had an interest in moving to Los Angeles. I had always pictured it as Hollywood Boulevard and an episode of Cops going on around Hollywood Boulevard, and I didn't see the appeal.
Right.
So
were you really different when you first started? When you were first trying out stand up?
Different as a comedian?
Yeah. Or were you...
Yeah. I mean, I was very, I think, insecure and had stage fright. So that, I think I always had a very low-key personality, but my stage fright and fear kind of played into that. Yeah.
Right.
And
right.
I think accentuated it.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah, I'm only asking because after seeing the old version of you, I'm not sure if you were like up there with a cigarette and just kind of like
you were ashing on the front row.
Chappelle was looking at you like, I could use that.
Yeah. I went up to him and I said, I have something you can use that I'm going to be getting rid of. But yeah, I slowly, you know what it is? I started to think about how in life, I always think about how it's never a bad idea to take your own advice.
Mm-hmm.
And anytime I wanted to grow or change as a stand-up, I would have this part in my head saying, no, but that's not your persona. You can't do that. And then this other part of me would be thinking, but I don't want to do that anymore. And if I imagined a comedian friend of mine saying, hey, I don't want to do props anymore. I just want to do this, or I don't want to do this anymore. I want to do props. Or I would never say, you need to stick with what you've always been.
Right.
And don't evolve. Don't change or check anything out. Just stick with what you've been doing.
Yeah.
So that thought was helpful for me.
Yeah, it's pretty self-aware. I remember early on saying to Colin Quinn, like, I don't know if I could just like shift gears and, I was moving around a lot or something. I forgot even what was on my mind, but I remember saying like, I don't know if I change right now, like my fans would be like, what are you doing? And he's like, your fans. I'm doing two spots a week, And
that's what's so crazy is I feel like from the beginning of my stand-up where I was way more subdued and one-liner comedian, to expanding into, I'm going to walk around, or I'm going to tell more than one line. I'm going to tell a 20-minute story. Or
Right.
I'm going to get more personal and honest.
Yeah.
It's just that I've always tried to do exactly what feels right. And I noticed that barely anyone really
Yeah.
noticed a transition, because my voice is still in a one-liner. It's in a 20-minute story. It's
Right.
whatever you do, your voice is going to be there.
Yeah, you think it's these huge shifts,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Oh, look, she's walking across now."
Yeah, but nobody is thinking about it.
Yeah, at all. It is such a weird thing. What's really I've been thinking about recently is so strange is why I think that people watching me is different from me watching other people. Like when I watch other people, I love all the in-between stuff, like how they take a sip of water or the pauses in between. I'm taking in all of it. And then when I'm on stage myself, I'm like, I've got to fire out jokes as fast as possible, and and thinking about the water, it's like, how am I going to stop and get that water? I really need that water, but I got to tell these jokes right now. Like, wait a minute, why is?
Another thing, I know I'm unlike other comedians in that, and I do think, of course, it's so important to be writing all the time and to be generating new material, and I absolutely, it is a priority to me.
Yeah.
I am not a comedian that thinks you have to have a new hour every year, that if you did it on TV, you can never say it again. I don't believe in any of that, because when I think of going into a club and seeing, let's say, somebody I adore and think is hilarious, Maria Bamford, or you, or anybody that really cracks me up, and I know their material, if they did one of my favorite jokes, I would be so, of course, I don't know that I want to see somebody's special all over again every time I see him for the next 5 years.
Sure.
But if you sprinkle in a bit that I love, or that you clearly love telling, I don't think you're a lame comedian.
No. Absolutely.
I just can't get on board with that. Like, oh, wait, you're doing that? I thought you did that on TV. Didn't you already burn that? I'm like,
I know.
That's your world. I'm fine with doing that again.
Yeah. And one part of that really bothers me is, how good does everybody think they are? How good?
No, they think they're good.
Of a writer.
They think they're good.
They think that, oh, well, I'm just going to keep blazing out this stuff. It's like, what? We have a whole generation of first draft comedians.
I know. It's
like
really something.
Yeah. And like, you ever like reach really back? Like if you're doing a show for somebody and it just happens that one of your oldest jokes of all time fits in this moment, and you pull it out and do it. Mm-hmm. The laughter on those jokes are so strong, because they've grown and they've matured, and you know it, and it's you, and it's such a thing. It's like, why would I not do that? So some comedian who's not thinking about me, I'm thinking is thinking.
Oh, they're thinking about you, Tom.
Yeah. God.
It really, you have to get out of your head and out of what you think is expected of you, and really get in touch with. I mean, that's just how I feel, because I truly, there's a joy in seeing people grow and write and change, but there's also a joy in hearing one of the greatest hits every now and then.
Right, exactly. No, but that's what I'm always so impressed with you. It's the combination of confidence and freedom is what are the two biggest words that I mean, funny, of course, but confidence and freedom. It always seems like you're very sure of yourself when you're performing, and there's like, you can tell, like, if there's a shift and you're going to do something in the moment, you're not afraid to go off and venture, which is I I don't know. It's one of those things that's very difficult unless you've been on stage. It's very difficult to understand that a lot of times our head pins us in and gives you very little room up there. And you seem to have broken down those kind of those walls for yourself.
Well, I think again, well, thank you. And it was also making me laugh to think of just being confident and free. It just sounds like a lunatic up there.
Wee!
Just, which I guess it can be the case at times. It's not, sometimes humor, the comedy doesn't show up, and just the confidence and freedom is running rampant for an hour. But
she hasn't said anything funny, but
not in years. But very confident. Look at her chest out there.
Really enjoying herself.
Oh my gosh. Bought tickets to her own show, in fact. I saw her standing in line outside.